tips for tax time and life on a houseboat. Today on Keeping You Organized. Well, today on Keeping You Organized, we have Missy Gerber from Organizers Northwest in the Portland area. Missy, welcome today to Keeping You Organized.
Thank you so much, John, for having us.
Now, I know the secret behind this, but people maybe looking at the video might think that you're in some, like penthouse apartment in New York City, but we gave away that you're in Portland. But tell people where you are coming to us from right now.
My husband, Steve, and I live on a floating home, on the Willamette River, and we've been here about 10 years, and we love it.
Well, that probably has some organizing challenges itself. Like, how many square feet are you dealing with there?
It absolutely has some challenges. We obviously don't have a basement to fill up with stuff. We have 1,600 square feet, and we try and just keep what we love. Same message we send to our clients.
Yeah, well, good. At least you practice what you preach, right?
That's right. That's right. We tried.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's...
Well, listen, we are in a fast approaching tax season here, and today we want to talk some tax organizing, tax tips. Now, we'll put the disclaimer out that you're not a CPA. At least I don't believe you are, right? So, and you don't even play one on TV. But we will. There's a lot that people need to do probably throughout the whole year, I would imagine. So let's talk a little bit about tax organizing and some of the basics that people should do when they're getting ready to get their taxes done.
You bet. Tax season is busy for everyone. And we would like to see them processing their tax, receipts and paper all year long. And that's a system that we set up for them when we're working in an office or a home. One of the things that we do is set up 7 hanging folders with interior folders, 1 through 7. And then when you're working on the current year, is number 1. So all during the year, anything that has to do with taxes, we want in that current year in number 1. When you go to file and compile all your numbers, then you will take out the number 2 and put it in number 3 so that the 7 is always the one that's purged. So you don't have to keep that. It's very easy. We don't want to label those hanging folders with the year, because then you'll have to do the work over and over again. So just create 1 through 7, and then number 7 is the one that goes.
But now, wouldn't those be pretty big folders, though? I mean, are you talking like an expandable folder, or what? How many pieces of paper?
Yeah. If you have more than 1 for that year, you can have another hanging folder behind that. Okay. If you want to, but we just want 1 folder to start with, so you have 1 spot to corral it.
Okay. Then how about maybe as you get closer to tax time? So you're saying put stuff in there year round, ideally, right. But say some people, they might have to get all their stuff together and then put it in the folder. Then what do you do once you have this full folder of stuff?
Great question. Well, then it's easier to process, because you grab the interior folder and you have all your receipts in there, and then you can spread them out and categorize how you want to present it to your tax preparer or how you want to do it yourself. We don't want 1 piece of paper inside a manila folder. That you want broader categories so that things are all together, and then you want to leave your hanging folder. Well, good question. I've got a hanging folder right here. Okay. So this...
hopefully it's a Smead folder.
Of course.
Okay, good.
So this stays in your file drawer all the time. This is your bookmark. Okay. And it never comes out. This interior folder goes inside and gathers, you'll see it's inside, gathers all your data, and then this comes out, you take it to the office or the dining room table, sort your stuff, and it goes back in.
Now, where did you get that fancy 3D label on that folder there?
This is, if somebody asks me what my favorite tip or product is, we are, and I know it's not a commercial for Smead, but we are loyal to the Smead Viewables product. We use a process called 5S, which supports lean and the Toyota way, and so we want a visual factory. We want it to be really easy to see. We use this a lot with seniors because it's visible and it's from the front, or you have a 4-drawer file cabinet. That bottom drawer is hard to see the labels. You can't see the tabs. So this is viewable from above.
Okay.
And it can color coordinate. You can, what we use with paper is straight line filing.
Okay.
And that's because that's how our brain processes. So if you think of the yellow pages, it's all in a line.
Right.
It doesn't go left, center, right. You can set up your files to be left, center, right by category. So you could have all your personal things are right, all your business things are left. And the reason we do that is because we want it to be easy to see if there's an error. So if you've got a left tab item in a right tab drawer, it's going to show up.
Right. Yeah, and that's a great way to keep it organized. And
yeah,
we thank you for the plug, but that was not planned at all. Okay, I just when you see those viewable labels, they're pretty obvious. So.
People love these. Yeah,
that's great.
And they're so easy to use. The software is great. So.
Yeah. Okay, well, let's try to put a face on one of your clients. You don't have to use their name, who's maybe had some tax paperwork organizing challenges, and maybe describe their situation before and then how you approached it and what you did with them to get them up and running.
You bet. Taxes, we just worked with a woman last year whose mother had passed away, and she was in charge of the estate, which brought lots and lots of paper and emails and communication. So we set up a system for her to gather all this, and so she could go to her tax accountant with her mom's things and papers and have it all together. We found checks in there. That's kind of our tagline is we always find money. Mm-hmm. There's a $20 bill, there's a bag of coins, but we just always find money. It's crazy. And one of the things that we want to help our clients with is to eliminate waste. And if we've got waste of buying things we already own, waste of late fees on bills or not paying your taxes, so we want to help them regain control and live simpler.
Right. Well, looking at, having done, I'm sure, many people getting them organized for the tax season, what do you think are the top 1 or 2 things that people overlook or the mistakes they're making during tax, organizing?
Sure.
I guess I call it organizing time because you're not a CPA, you're not preparing that, but, what are they missing or what are some of the common mishaps?
So one thing that we've learned is that if you want to donate to a favorite charity, it's more impactful for that nonprofit to receive one $100 check, and it's easier for you to manage instead of writing 4 $25 checks to 4 different nonprofits. So you might want to create a policy saying, okay, this year I'm going to give to the food bank. Then you have one place to go. Your donation means more to the recipient, and it's easier for you to manage. You don't have all these little receipts. Mm-hmm. So one year you may do the food bank, the next you do Humane Society, the next, Boys and Girls Aid, whatever. But it's a lot smoother to operate that way.
What do you think is the most misplaced or lost item, piece of paper that's important for getting taxes?
Oh my gosh, so many.
Well, think about a client that you've worked with and maybe something they lost and that you found and why it was a good thing that you found it.
Right. A title to a car.
Okay.
We found that when they were getting ready to sell a car. This just happened last week. Mm-hmm. He couldn't find it, and so we had worked with him in his office about a year ago, and we went, over the phone, could tell him where it was, so that was fun. People lose birth certificates, passports, all of those, vital documents need to be in one spot.
Do you promote, like in just your general organizing when you're setting up someone's home office or an area, that there's a certain file drawer that maybe has the critical stuff in it, or?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah. And so that we would call kind of a below ground long-term storage.
Okay.
That's not the action items that, when you get your mail and you're doing the first sort process, you just want to ask your paper to talk to you and say,
Right.
okay, what do I need to do with you? And those long-term items go in one spot, and everybody in the office or the home knows where that spot is, and visual, labeled clearly.
Well, listen, we're going to take a quick little break here, and when we come back, I want to talk some more tax organizing tips with you.
Okay.
Also, I want to find out a little bit more about how you got involved in organizing, and maybe even what drove you to live on a boat for 10 years. So we are with Missy Gerber from Organizers Northwest in Portland, Oregon, and we'll be back in just a moment. Do you need ideas on to-do lists, keeping focus, and filing information while on the go? The 100 Ideas for Better Organization ebook by Smead is sure to be a helpful tool for your organizing needs. Each idea is titled so you can quickly scan the book for whatever topic you may need to reference at the given time. With over 100 years in the organizing business, this free ebook will become a well-used resource and motivator for introducing ideas that boost your productivity. Get the 100 Ideas for Better Organization ebook by going to smead.com/100. Download yours now at smead.com/100. Smead, keeping you organized. We are back now on Keeping You Organized with Missy Gerber from Organizers Northwest, organizersnw.com on the web. We'll give that information out a little bit later, though.
Okay.
Let's talk about kind of maybe how you started in the organizing business, and then work me up to how you decided to move into the boat.
Okay. Wow. I got started, I was working in corporate America, and I was stationed in Phoenix, and I'm an Oregonian, third generation, and trying to get back. And so my mom got sick, and she passed away, and my dad was here by himself, and just seemed like a good time, and he wanted some help, and so came back to Oregon, and went to my first NAPO meeting at the Oregon chapter, and I think there were 5 girls there. And so in fact, Steve went with me because we were just investigating this whole thing, and we thought it was a good fit. So, all your careers and all your skills and education leads to today. And it just, when I was in marketing, I worked for Kraft Foods, and I won all the contests because I was organized. Yeah, you have goals, and you track, and you measure, and you take action every day, and small steps lead to success. So it's real. And because I grew up here, I had a lot of, kind of seniors is how I got started. And then just the more you learn and the more you grow, and it's just been a great ride.
Did you get on the boat then right away when you came in, or did you?
Yeah, pretty much. We bought it. Yeah.
Wow.
Well, yeah, I guess it's been 13 years, maybe. Yeah.
Now, do you ever have clients come and meet you there, or are you always just going out and meeting people?
We go out and meet them.
Okay.
One of the things that we do is our brand is we have a couple of client appreciation parties a year.
Okay.
So one of the fun things about Portland is we have the Christmas ships that go down the river, and they're all lit up, and it's a lot of fun. So we have a client appreciation party, and folks come down here and celebrate and watch the Christmas. They all want to look in my pantry pretty much and see if I'm organized.
Yeah, they want to check you out and make sure. Well, I ask a lot of the organizers we have on this show whether they use a paper planner or are they into the digital age now with that. So I might as well ask you the same question.
Sure. We use a digital planner in the office, and then a couple girls on the team use their paper day timers. So there's no right way. That's the deal with becoming organized is it's a process, and you use what feels good for you.
Well, let's talk about your team approach there, because you have is it 6 organizers on staff?
Correct.
How does that work? They all don't come to the boat, do they?
Well, we have meetings here.
Okay.
Yeah, and or sometimes we'll go out and get a little change of venue for our meetings, but it's because we have a team and somebody's got a large project, they've been in their home 30 years, maybe a spouse has passed away and the house is packed, then we can get huge results in a short period of time.
Okay. So, well, tell me a little bit about your business and what kinds of clients you work with, and some of their kinds of challenges.
Well, we use a process, I think I mentioned it, called 5S. And it's very logical. It's a system that we can implement, and it's based on the needs of the client. So a business client has different goals and objectives than, a person who's downsizing and getting rid of a lifetime of accumulation. So we've got a girl that really loves the corporate and the paper, and then Marianne is a mom of 3, and so that's a really good fit for that client. So we really, during the intake on the phone, we really try and ask probing questions like, what are the goals and how can we help? Because that's what we do, is facilitate and move the project forward.
Yes.
So when they call us, they're using really, painful words. I'm drowning in my paper. I'm buried. I'm suffocating. I'm overwhelmed, and I don't know where to start.
Right.
So.
Well, yeah, and that's great that you can have a variety of people there. Let's go back to your personal organizing, because you've been doing it for a while. How do you organize your day or your week? Do you have routines you go through?
Sure.
What's your process?
We're big supporters of time blocking, where we have, we can use the Pareto principle of 20 and 80. So in an 8-hour workday, there are 96 minutes is 20%. If you can shut yourself off from the email and the phones and really focus on that one project, 96 minutes, you can really move forward. That's really difficult to do in a work environment. So we suggest 30 minutes. If you can focus for 30-minute bundles during the day, you will move mountains. It's just that really hyper-focused time that you need without interruption.
Do you promote using like a timer to do that, or at the same time every day kind of thing?
Same time every day really helps, but that's not always possible. And so if you could block it out on your calendar for the week, or the other thing that we do is at the end of the day, what 3 things do you want to get accomplished tomorrow? Right. And this is a huge help, because you don't have to redo the work when you get to your desk in the morning. So you got your routine, you come in, drop your briefcase, get a cup of coffee, you're at your desk. Now where do I start? Right. If you've done the work the prior evening when you left, then those 3 things are right there, and you just dive in and make that phone call or work on that presentation or whatever you need to do.
Right, and keep it simple.
Yeah.
Well, let's talk about your TV fame, because you were telling me before about an interesting TV appearance. Why don't you tell the audience about that?
Oh, we were so fortunate. We were chosen to be the organizers on the Learning Channel for Little People, Big World. Okay. And it's a family, husband and wife and 3 kids, and they're dwarves. And it was just great. We did their laundry room and their pantry, and they have the same struggles that, every household in America has. It's soccer and school and homework and carpool and, laundry for 5 folks and grocery shopping and meal planning. So we had a lot of fun. It was great. The Roloffs were lovely people, and it was a really great experience.
What were the top 3 things that you did with them to kind of get them under control?
In the laundry room, there was just no system in place at all. So we had, we had separating laundry, and then as the laundry was done, we had separate bins for each family member. So they could just take their bin, go to their bedroom, unload it, and put the bin back. They also didn't have a landing pad for when they came in the home. So they needed some hooks, they needed some, space on the shelving that we created for this is where things go. So when you do a sweep of the kitchen counters, everybody knows where everything lives and has a home designed for it.
Wow, that's great. Well, listen, we are kind of getting near the end of our time. I want to give you an opportunity to talk to potential people that may want to get a hold of you. Now, your practice primarily is in the Portland area.
Correct.
Is that correct?
Correct.
And so what's the best way for people to get a hold of you?
Give us a call.
Okay.
Or the website. And we do have a Facebook page. We've got a little contest going on now with another small business in Portland.
Okay.
So anybody that could like us on Facebook, that'd be awesome.
Okay.
And Veronica writes a wonderful blog that I get to brag about, and it's just full of tips and resources and great creative ideas for folks. So the blog is awesome.
So if people want to reach probably the Facebook or the blog or the website, organizersnw.com.
And John, if they sign up for the newsletter, then they will receive our paper retention guideline, because that's really a common question that we get is, how long do I keep stuff? So we've got kind of a general guideline that we'll send them when they sign up for the newsletter. Yeah.
Yeah, well, and like, again, we were talking earlier about tax time and getting ready for that. Probably one of the biggest challenges is that, what do I need to keep and what do I not need to keep?
Correct.
Great.
Correct. And just, the less you have, the fewer papers you have to go through, the more likely you will be to put your hands on what you want when you want it.
Absolutely.
So,
well, listen, Missy, I appreciate your time today. This has been a
Thank you.
blast, and I hope we can get you back on another show in the future as well.
I would love it. Thanks,
Great.
John.
Missy Gerber from Organizers Northwest and organizersnw.com today on Keeping You Organized.